Shedeur Sanders has been on an absolute pathway of destruction for positivity because he's been doing a lot of growing, right? He's been doing a lot of growing. That's the point. Bad analogy. But what it is going on is that Shedeur is even impressing the hard to impress Browns media. So today we're going to watch his third day because we haven't watched it yet. This is day 3 of minicamp, the final day of minicamp before he takes a month break and they come back for training camp. So we're going to watch a few of these clips, talk to a few things, and then we've got obviously some media members speaking about how, to be honest with you, impressed they have been with Shedeur Sanders through the growth in minicamp, through the growth.
Shedeur Sanders is currently on a pathway of absolute destruction, but it's not the kind of destruction the headlines want you to believe. For years, the narrative has been that he's a product of hype, a flashy name.
The footwork is just that much better. So, love to see that. Another media member, here's Felton Jones. I think he's actually in Cleveland. Shedeur is clearly ahead in the competition so far. This is June 9th. I think the QB1 will be named sooner than we think. That's what they saying, man. Here's Football Chops. Again, this is the guy, by the way. This is the guy that does the QB tracker. He's a part of ESPN Cleveland. He is the one that puts the QB tracker together. And this is what he has to say. He's been at all the camps, everything. Thought today was the most efficient day of both quarterbacks in minicamp. This is the last day, right? Yeah, this is the last day.
With a famous father and a diva personality that wouldn't survive the grit of an NFL locker room. But right now, in the heart of Cleveland, something is shifting. The noise is getting quieter because the performance is getting louder. Shedeur isn't just competing, he's evolving at a rate that has even the most cynical members of the Browns media scratching their heads in disbelief. We've just wrapped up the final day of minicamp, and the footage coming out of these sessions tells a story that the national analysts are terrified to admit. There's a specific kind of focus you see in a player who knows he's being watched by people who want him to fail. During day 3 of minicamp, before the team dispersed for their final break before training camp, Shedeur was putting on a clinic of efficiency. This wasn't just about throwing dots, it was about the subtle movements. Watching him move in the pocket, finding tight windows for Casey Concepcion, and delivering balls with a level of velocity that looks effortless. There was one specific play where he moved the pocket, kept his eyes downfield, and threaded a needle right past the outstretched arms of a defender who had a clear path to him. It looked like he was playing a different game than everyone else on the field. But while the tape shows a superstar in the making, the real story is what happened when the cameras weren't rolling. You have to wonder why a young man with millions in the bank and the world at his feet would choose to spend his entire offseason in Cleveland, Ohio. Most players in his position would be in Paris, Texas, or back home in Colorado, enjoying the fruits of their nil deals and fame. But Shedeur stayed. He stayed in the cold, stayed in the facility, and stayed in the ears of his coaches. This millionaire hermit approach is exactly what has led to the technical leap we're seeing now. His footwork has been described as markedly improved by veterans who have covered this team for decades. One offseason with Kevin Stefanski's staff and Todd Monken's influence has turned a raw, high-ceiling prospect into a disciplined pocket surgeon. But as his talent grows, so does the desperation of those who need him to stay the son of prime. The coaching shift in Cleveland is perhaps the most underrated part of this entire saga. For years, Kevin Stefanski ran a system-based offense. It was rigid. You had to fit the play didn't fit you. If you didn't have the perfect pieces, the whole thing fell apart. Enter Todd Monken. Monken is a players over plays guy. He doesn't care about the scheme as much as he cares about maximizing the unique, God-given talents of the person holding the ball. Whether it's Stetson Bennett at Georgia or Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, Monken builds a suit around the player. And right now, he's tailoring a masterpiece for Shedeur. He's finding ways to use Denzel Boston's length and Concepcion's run-after-catch ability in ways this franchise hasn't seen in years. This isn't just an offense anymore, it's a laboratory for Shedeur's success. But that success is creating a massive problem for the man currently sitting in the QB1 chair. The competition with Deshaun Watson has officially entered the danger zone for the veteran. In minicamp, the highs and lows of Deshaun were on full display: wild, explosive throws followed by inexplicable mistakes and catastrophic decisions. Meanwhile, Shedeur has become the king of consistency. He hasn't been as high, but he certainly hasn't been as low. He's playing a pro-ready style that coaches trust more than the hero ball mentality. Even the media members in the room are starting to whisper that the QB1 job might be named much sooner than anyone expected. It's a classic battle of the veteran coming off injuries versus the hungry newcomer who refuses to leave the facility. And just when it seemed like Shedeur was winning the locker room, the national media decided it was time to strike back. Enter Mike Florio, a man known for his pointed takes, who recently cooked up a narrative that feels more like a hit job than an observation. Florio claimed he saw a video where Deshaun Watson's fake handoffs were more crisp than Shedeur's, leading him to label the young quarterback as lackadaisical in his preparation. Let that sink in for a moment. A kid who spent his entire winter in Cleveland training while he could have been anywhere else in the world is being called lazy because of the way he fakes a handoff in June. It's the kind of insidiousness that follows certain players, a way to devalue their hard work by attacking their prestige or focus. It's an attempt to create a come-by narrative where Shedeur needs a pep talk to be serious, when the reality is he's already outworking everyone in the building. The irony of the lackadaisical label is that it usually comes from people who aren't even watching the tape. While guys like Darrell Reuter are busy complaining that Shedeur isn't Arch Manning, football minds like Lance Riesland are actually breaking down the mechanics. There's
the narrative that they've played great or the narrative that they've played terrible, I just don't agree with. I think there's been some real improvement with things that are kind of not what you see on, even the clips I send out with footwork and processing and getting to the second, third progressions and getting the poise and calling these plays. And you can see they have a lot of there's a lot on their plate with changing protections and getting into good plays. And that's kind of the idea of not being in a system offense. So for me, I like it. And as I said yesterday with Darrell, I don't think it's a matter
of the weight transfer, the second and third progressions, and the poise under pressure. The media divide is becoming a war between those who understand football and those who want to sell a headline. One group sees a fifth-round pick who is playing like a first-round lock, while the other sees a diva who needs to be humbled. But the more they try to humble him, the more he seems to thrive in the chaos. This entire situation is building toward a boiling point that will likely explode the moment the pads come on in training camp. As the saying goes, none of this matters until the hits are real. But if the mini-camp scramble drills are any indication, Shedeur is more than ready for the contact. He's keeping plays alive with purpose, understanding exactly where his routes are going to uncover, and showing a catch radius awareness that most veterans never master. The narrative of him being stupid or lazy is dying a slow death on the practice field. And as the media continues to cook up concoctions to explain away his talent, Shedeur just keeps stacking efficient days. As we look toward the future of this franchise, you have to ask yourself who you'd rather trust, the veteran struggling to find his old self, or the young gun who has redefined his entire game in 6 months. The media is turning, the coaches are impressed, and the locker room is watching. The pathway of destruction isn't about Shedeur.
Even when they have to praise Shedeur, and they have to be like, oh, well, because everybody knows Tom Munkin don't lie. So they have to reason with themselves, well, why is Shedeur playing like a good quarterback? I know what it was. Todd Munkin gave him a kumbaya session, and Shedeur's so stupid and lazy, right? That he needed a pep talk from someone. That's the only way. But no, Mike Florio. This is a guy who covers football. And no, I don't.
His attitude. It's about the way he's destroying every single doubt that was ever placed on his name. If he keeps this pace, the question won't be if he starts, but how many records he'll break once he does. When the dust finally settles and the first whistle of the regular season blows, will we be looking at the greatest I told you so in NFL history? The naked mole rats of the media can keep their speculation and their lackadaisical labels, but the film doesn't lie. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a name anymore, he's a problem for every defense in the league. And if you're still betting against him, you might want to look at where he's spending his time. He's not in Paris. He's in the film room. He's in the pocket. And very soon, he might just be in the Super Bowl conversation. It's time to start paying attention to the work, not the noise. Because in Cleveland, the dangerous season has officially begun.